Happy Monday, class. So Monday, January 13th, Rhetoric and Research. So today in class, I want to talk to you briefly about good evidence versus bad evidence. So good evidence is evidence that comes from reputable sources, like news shows and newspapers and websites where you know that it's not biased. So, for example, if you are going to be arguing something about the straw ban and you're looking at something that comes from, let's say, PETA, People for the Ethical Protection of Animals, and they're talking all about like how straws in the ocean are killing marine life. Okay, that's probably true and it's probably good information, but PETA definitely has ulterior motives to write the information that they do. So you want to look for something instead that might be, say, like the New York Times, where it's not a website that is actually promoting one thing versus the other. For news shows and newspapers, you also want to make sure that you know the profit motivation. That means there are news shows and newspapers that are supported by one wing of a political party over the other. So we know that some news programs have more conservative bias. Like, for example, Fox News tends to be more conservatively biased. And then we know others that tend to be a little bit more liberally biased, like the Huffington Post. So understanding the bias behind those different newspapers and news shows is actually pretty important. Let's talk now about how you use quotes. So use actual information. Don't just quote someone who agrees with what you're saying. So for example, again, if we're talking about the California straw ban and you want to, in your paragraph, you're writing about why the straw ban is good, don't just repeat someone saying the same thing that you just said, like the straw ban has many benefits, and then you're going to quote someone saying one of the benefits of the straw ban. No. Instead, you're looking for evidence that supports the good use of the straw ban, like how many tons of plastic a year based on straws alone are thrown out and where that plastic ends up. Okay, so actual information, not just people who agree with you. That's the difference between statistics and information. So how many tons of plastic a year, that's statistics. Information is just giving you more knowledge about whatever the topic is. You can use both of them when you quote them within your speech, but you need to make sure that you understand the difference between the two. All right, so introduce your quote. The handout that I gave you, this one, on the current event assignment, the last few pages of it, again here, has information about how to introduce a quote or introduce research. Using a quotation, it's right here, this box, backing up your argument with proof. So introduce your quotes by saying, this person, this website, this news show states this, or according to this, or so-and-so himself writes this. These are all good ways that you can back it up. Now, in a debate or a speech situation, you have to verbally present all of your sources to show that they're credible sources. So just keep that in mind as you're going through, that you actually say, introducing your quote, according to an article in the New York Times, blah. Okay? And then the substitute should pass out this. It's a example speech, so you can kind of look at it and see how it's formatted to kind of give you an idea of how you want to format your own speech, and also see what that outline looks like in action. So this one is on the wage gap, and it definitely follows the way, like the different format of what you're supposed to be looking for. Okay, hopefully everything is going well, and hopefully I'm healing at home, so I hope you have a good Monday. The rest of the time in class, once you take a look at the example speech, should be work time, working individually on constructing your current event speeches, finding more research, and putting all of that stuff into MLA format. All right, have a great Monday.